And the guest invite. Invitation sent. Michael, have you ever sold anything that needs to be refrigerated? No. And I don't really know anybody that has, honestly. What's up, Ivan?
Oh, hey, what's up?
How you doing?
You good yourself?
I'm doing good. Talking to
Hey,
you.
man. Nah, man. I know you're looking at me. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Dang.
had.
So where are you located?
Right now I'm in Bend, Oregon.
Oregon. Okay.
Yeah, what about you?
And I'm in Georgia. I'm still trying to figure out the FBA game. That's why I started that conversation with how many Asians, but I meant Asians.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. But I like, the chat's always an interesting place. But yeah, I'm originally from like the Chicago area, and in the last 6 years, I was living in the city proper, but now I'm in Bend. So,
Got
uh,
you.
yeah. So where are you at now? Like you just have a store yet, or like?
Yeah. Right now I think I currently have like two ASINs, but man, this is a pain in the butt. You got people. I mean, you got like let's just say it's like office supplies, and you got the big players coming in, like they got like 20,000 reviews. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I can't even get one. So I mean, but I'm trying to scale up there. It's tough.
What do you have a full time job right now? Like steady?
Yeah. I was advised not to quit until actually start scaling, which is probably the smart thing to do.
Yes. So, uh, when you want to think about like your potential exit would be maybe when you're around like 30 to 40 thousand dollars a month in revenue, and you're netting, I would say at that point, usually between like $6 and $8 thousand per month or more, because you have to think like it's capitalism, and your business requires a certain amount of capital in order for it to be able to operate and grow. So even though you're netting like 8 grand at 40K, um, that you still need to be able to put money aside every month into your business. So
Got you.
like,
So
yeah, go ahead.
no, my bad. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Do you have any background like in sales? Were you always into like, I guess into this type of like genre or area of business?
I mean, I do a little bit of sales now because I have a like a one-on-one mentorship program, and I always talk to everybody that ends up, you know, signing up for a call or whatever for that. But
Hmm.
I've done everything from the first job I ever had was working for my dad had like a small warehouse, and so I worked under my brother, like stacking boxes, building pallets, and like putting stuff away. I worked at Domino's, Panera, like fast food joints. I got into small engine repair and like fixing machines, and I did carpentry, and uh, yeah, I worked for a couple construction companies and ranches, and I've even done like a little bit of like filmmaking, and I got into Amazon about well, in 2012, 2014,
Wow,
2014, yeah.
man, lucky. Now I'm seeing a couple ASINs. Well, I guess it's the bigger ASINs. They require like 100 units to get ungated in. Well, I mean, not all of them, right? I don't want to scare no one. There's definitely a lot that have only 10
Yeah.
as a requirement. But
Yes. So to answer your original question about how many ASINs you need to like kind of have escape velocity, uh, Asians would be another thing, but it could be like code for virtual assistants.
right.
Uh, it depends. So I think the best way to think about it is not necessarily like number of ASINs, although I do have some friends that talk about that. Like you want to just continually build your list of ASINs up every week or every month. I have heard that. Um, like my one friend Cody, he sometimes will tell people to set a goal of like 90 ASINs.
Hmm.
I've always thought about it in terms of just like capital. How much money do
Right.
you have? So like you don't have to share if you don't want to, but how much money do you have to put into your business right now?
So right now, that's the big. So I will say, it's about 4.5 grand, so
Oh, perfect.
4.5K.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Um, yeah, yeah, and so I guess the issue is like, I guess finding proper. I guess it's just getting that confidence into buying, good ASINs. I wouldn't say there's not really a sweet spot for ASINs, right? But gaining in the right time, I guess,
Yeah.
where I can possibly scale them and like I guess have replans. That's what I'm trying to look for. Just that's what everyone's talking about. Like, hey, find your replans. Definitely find the sales, but replans are where it's at. I'm not sure if you have like any, like experience with that.
Have you sold anything that was profitable yet?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have. It's been office supplies for me. That's kind of been my go-to category, just because
Mhm.
it's not. How to explain it? It's like it's still under 20 sellers,
Yeah.
and I can find my replens just because I have like a catch it all email, and I'm constantly getting those emails in and getting those replens in with those email coupons.
Yeah. Have you done any reverse sourcing?
I've tried it. I guess the sellers I'm going towards, like, they have plenty of ASINs, but I guess I just get so like mentally frustrated because I'm like, how the hell do they get these nice? Sorry, I mean to say that, but how the heck do they get these like good discounts on these products? And then just recently, I found out that well, I'll just go and share. I think it's iHerb. I believe you can stack coupons on there, and I wasn't aware of that. And so, just because I was personally trying to get into supplements, because I know they can't um, you can't return those
Yeah.
items. And then if you find like a prep center, I believe it's in Florida, I believe they have tax exempt or no tax on the supplements, I believe.
Yeah. Somebody asked what's reverse sourcing. So basically, if you can find one profitable product and make a sale on Amazon, then what you want to do is you want to look at your competitors on that listing, and then you can use a tool like SellerAmp or Nepeto, and then you can basically use that tool to storefront stock your competitors. So like you could pull up, and this is kind of what I might mention to you, Ivan, is like, uh, what was the brand that you sold?
um it's Office Depot. Office Depot, yeah.
Their generic brand or something, or
Yeah, it's a generic, it's pants. It's also Stanley.
sure, all
Stanley.
right. So let's just say it was Bic, for example, and it was like a Bic product. Um, So you would go to your listing that sold the item, and then you would go and look at your competitors, and then you would want to try to find a seller who's kind of like either comparable to where you're at, where they're like kind of newer, or just generally kind of avoid the monster sellers. And then you click on their storefront through SellerAmp, and then you can see you can do a couple ways. So like through SellerAmp, then you can just look at the specific brand, which is what I would do if I was just
Mm-hmm.
starting out. I would
I
just
got
stick
you.
with the brand from that listing, and then I would look through their listings, especially when you just sourced the item. Like if you just sourced it, go through your competitors in that listing, and then look through the brand that they also share with you, and then see, like then look at those other items. Um, and then with Nepeto, which is another tool, Nepeto, you can do mostly the same thing with SellerAmp. But once you find an item, or actually when you storefront stock your competitors in Nepeto, they will search their database for the products at other websites for you. So SellerAmp kind of has the advantage where it shows you all the products that your competitor is listing, but Nepeto will show you where they bought the products if Nepeto has that store slash product in their database.
So
Um,
that's the first time I've heard of that. The pedo.
yeah,
How is it? Is it sorry? Is it like a monthly subscription as well, like as same as like Keepa and SolarAmp?
yeah, uh, Nepeto, and I don't remember the whole like subscription like pricing plan package. I just pay 99 a month. Um, you guys can either search it up or have like an affiliate link if you want to check that out. But you can just go to pedo.com.
Please do send. I think these guys will want to use your affiliate link just because I personally haven't heard of that. And if you're telling me that I could possibly find the I guess site or place where they're purchasing from, that's like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah. Let me pull it up real quick, and maybe you can put it in the chat. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. And then I think I can reply here. Yeah. Anyway, that's the affiliate link, but it's kind of clunky. If you guys wanted to use it, you have to message me for it. Yeah, so what else would I do? So the other thing I would do is when I work with people one-on-one, I show them how to use a Keepa product finder. Have you ever used that before?
Yes. So what I've been, I guess, just after some research, I've been seeing that it's best to find like some storefronts that you like, and
Yeah.
then plug it into Keepa, and then use that to kind of, I guess, filter out certain products, so like a price point, or certain sellers, or some that are about to spike with seasonal events and whatnot.
Yes, you can do that as well as you can use Keeper Product Finder to just look up specific brands. So if you have approval for a brand like Stafford, or like a good clothing brand to get ungated for is like Columbia or Brooks or Saucony, then you could just look up listings for that brand and add in all those other parameters as well.
Gotcha. And what would you say was your breaking point? Because I know plenty of people say you're not gonna get results unless you put like skin in the game, and that's definitely what I'm trying my best to do. But what would you say was your breaking point? Because I've gone to, I guess, step one, finding a couple ASINs that I can replan, but I'm trying to like, I guess, be able to spend. I know, I mean, I trust the process now, but I guess it's just I want to diversify. I'm not sure if it's the smartest thing to do with my funds, or maybe just uh,
Um, well, what you have to do is get really good at identifying your winners and your losers, and you do more of the winners and less of the losers. And uh, there's a couple, like three, just general pieces of advice that I give people is network. So your network is your net worth. Meet people, do stuff like what we're doing right now. Talk to people. Like you just threw it out there, like, hey, let me get the chat, or whatever, and like invite me on a thing. It's like, okay, let's do it. So that's what we're doing. So
got
just
you.
keep doing stuff like that. Keep meeting people. There was a conference this last week called the Miami Sellers Conference that went on. There's another one called I think it's called the Proven Conference, or the Proven Amazon, the PAC conference, PAC conference, by this guy named Jim Cockrum. Like if you're in the Florida area or you want to travel, I would go to that. Meet people online. There's a free Facebook group at the link in my bio. Um, but like, I think the breakthrough through thing for me, I just threw everything at the kitchen sink, and then things started to kind of stick. So like, number one is just, and it's hard to say like, oh, you should do this and then this is going to be your breakthrough point, because I think it's a little bit different for everybody. But some just general things is to network. uh, and I think the people that do really well on Amazon, that scale up and grow a real business, they know accounting. And that's one thing I try to teach people when I work with them one on one, is just how to do a balance sheet, how to do a profit and loss statement, at least understand those things.
Yeah.
Because when you have a profit and loss basically shows like at the very top of the page, it's like this was your income, this is the money that came in from Amazon, and then after that it's all the expenses. And so if you have a really good P&L, you can see like, oh, I made money here, here, and here, and I lost money on this thing and this thing and this thing. And so you can literally just break it down into data and say like, oh, this thing that I thought was profitable actually wasn't. So I'm going to stop doing that. And then you might have a couple things on your page there that were really profitable. So now you just got to do more of those things. and kind of reverse engineer the success there. So yeah, like network, accounting, and then the other breakthrough is like um, one thing that I do is every day I sit down and uh, when I'm not as focused on my own Amazon business right now, but so I still do this, but I apply it a little bit differently. So as an Amazon seller, what I would do every day is sit down and I write down what stores that I sourced at. So whether it was the website or physical retail stores, write those down at the. It's like you write down the date. You could do this on a big calendar, or I do it on a spreadsheet now, where it's at the top. I write down the date for the day. I write down where I sourced, and I write down how much I spent. I have a goal written down of how much I wanted to spend that day, and then I write down what worked and what didn't work. And so you just write down, uh, I logged on and I made it happen today. Like whatever worked. Sometimes it is just showing up. Sometimes what worked is you had a coupon. Sometimes you might write down like, okay, I spent $50 today, and then you just write down what was positive about how you were able to spend that money. Whatever it was, like maybe you got lucky and you were just walking by at the right time and you found this product and you write down what the product was. And then after you write all the stuff that went well, you write down what didn't work. And so you write down like, oh, I got to the store late. I missed the website on the sale on the website by 30 minutes. Um, I couldn't, maybe you just like, I couldn't find anything. I ran out of money, like whatever problems that you ran into, you write that stuff down. So you do that every day. And then you just continue to work on the things that you're not being successful at. You identify those problems and you fix them. And then you're going to make more money. If you keep doing the things that are working, you will make more money. And it's just a way for you to kind of get organized and keep track of your own progress. And honestly, if that's something I still do and will continue to do. That just helped me scale a lot. So
Got you.
yeah, I just ranted at you for a second there, but
No, no, thank you for that. I'm actually gonna start doing that because, I'm, man, I wish I could say that I'm the guy to put into action this next day or that same day. But I've heard of that, and honestly, I need to start including that into my daily routine. But I got you. Okay, yeah. And talking about balance sheets and loss and profit, I guess sheets. I've seen plenty of those. I've made money and lost money in stock market, so
yeah,
making my own will definitely be pretty interesting. I got you. Okay, so yeah, I definitely I think that should go out for everyone too. Um, just definitely getting a little bit into accounting and surround yourself with people that actually want to make this thing happen. Because I believe I've been, I should really start digging for, I guess, more members because I've talked to a few, but they're not as active.
hmm. What do you mean?
Well, they're Amazon sellers, but they're kind of, I guess, in the same step as I am. They get frustrated with having, finding these nice ASINs, reverse sourcing into these nice sellers. They have like 100 plus ASINs, but they somehow can't find, I guess, the location or like website or store where they buy the products from. I profitable margin. Not only that, but I guess they're kind of hesitant because this happens to all of us. Unfortunately, where a big baller, I guess, comes into the listing and they're able to just crush like the everyone else. Like they'll lower the price by like a buck or two,
Yeah,
and I'm just like, man. I mean, it's not big, but I do want to try to maintain that 20, I guess 25% around there profit margin. I mean, it's
are you talking
yeah,
profit
it's
margin or ROI?
ROI. Sorry.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
at least that amount.
yeah, at
Um,
least. I got you. And do you do prep center now by chance?
no, like I said, I haven't been selling that much this last year,
I
and so,
got you.
but before that, I brought everything in house because I was doing mostly retail arbitrage in Chicago, and I just couldn't find a good prep center for RA in Chicago. I tried three different ones over the years, and I just ended up hiring somebody, and she was awesome, and she would source for me as well. So uh,
Got you.
yeah, I would
What do
say
you say? Go ahead, sorry.
no, no. Go ahead.
I feel bad because I feel like I have like so many questions for you. But would
Yeah.
you say it's important for me to or for anyone to really study websites? Like for example, because some people say, "Oh man, this is my bread and butter. This website is my bread and butter," simply because they understand that they have like what do they call them, like just coupons that are valid throughout the year. Evergreens. They have evergreens,
Yep.
and then they stack them along with promotional,
Yeah.
I guess discounts. Would you say that's pretty important as well? I know you did say like writing down these things, like the day of,
Yes.
how you did and what happened. Would you say like that's a portion that goes into that those notes?
Yes, because it's the same thing of if you found something that worked and that's profitable, you're trying to build a business here, so you need to do that again, and you just need to repeat. Like what a lot of people do is they find a profitable product and then they sell it and then they move on, they forget about it, and then they're like, I can't find anything. It's like, no, you have a profitable product that maybe you bought from just like Columbia.com or whatever. And so you bought it from Columbia.com. Now you need to go and just like learn that website because whatever, like lightning does strike twice in business. Maybe not in nature, but if you can find a win in your Amazon business, a profitable product once, you can do it again. And I would just try to replicate that exact same thing. So yeah, if you that's why like doing spreadsheets, like data analysis is like becomes super important the further you get into this because if you find stuff that's profitable, you found it. So now you need to just try to find the same product or a similar product or like replicate that somehow. So like learning the ins and outs of a website, you're going to do that through that process. So it's like if I'm starting out and I get ungated in Columbia because Columbia only takes 10 units and it's a pretty good brand, and and then I find something profitable there, I'm gonna like just zero in on that and focus in on it, especially because it's not your full time income, so you don't have to have all this pressure on you to make it happen right away. Just be very thoughtful about it, and um, yeah, it's like for like ungating, even if they are requiring 100 units, a lot of times you can just submit a 10 unit invoice and still get through. And then usually after you've had like 150 to 200 sales, Amazon starts to let off on the gating requirements a lot as well. So there's just a higher barrier to entry. And I would focus on selling the stuff that you're allowed to sell as a beginner. Then I would get it in grocery and just one major apparel brand. And then like that's as far as I would go with ungating with a couple of exceptions, maybe just depending on your situation.
Got you. I got you. I did not know that. Man, they become more lenient with ungating. Man, now I got to reach 250 units or double that, hopefully.
Well, it's not that they're lenient per se. It's just like the person who's checking it is looking at it like this,
Ah,
like
I
like
need that person. That's
So
pretty.
it's either being done algorithmically or when somebody finally does look at it, like you can even like if it's 100 units. I know people that have done 50 units of one ASIN under the same brand and 50 units of another ASIN under the same brand, and they still.
What?
Yep.
That's free game right there, man. I did not know that. That's oh man.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to start charging me for this info. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, you asked, so that's the thing is like if you want something out of life, you got to at least ask
Mhm.
for it.
What would you say were your, I guess, when sourcing, what would you say were like your big, okay, I know that, let's say Capital One cashback is gonna work and maybe some discount gift cards. I guess what were like the big players in making these items profitable, or were you just finding them like perfectly during like seasonal end sales or beginning of
Um,
season?
Well, since mostly what I've done over the years is like retail arbitrage, my process for going through a store is, and you can apply this to OA as well, to a degree. But if I go into a store, I'm going to immediately go to the area of the store that has the most expensive product at the biggest discount. So, uh, like if I was to be at Nike, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for like mm, whatever's expensive and discounted. So what I would typically do at like a Nike outlet is I'd walk through the aisles and I would just look for whatever had that red .97 red tag on it. And then I would scan all that stuff first. And then the other thing I would do is I would look for whatever they have the most of. Uh, so like if I'm looking at like a clearance section and I see that there's a couple of really expensive items in there that are in the clearance area, I'm going to scan those first. Then I'm also going to look at whatever items they have a lot of in that section. So I'm basically looking for opportunities to spend money quickly. Uh, so does that answer your question? I kind of forgot.
No, yeah, yeah, no, definitely. I know, cause some I guess I've heard several answers. Some people say stick to 70,000 sellers rank and below or 100K. Did that really matter? And like wanting, or is it, or what mattered most was like the amount of units being sold a month.
The
Like what
amount,
mattered? Yeah,
what matters most is the amount of money that you have to spend. So if you have not a lot of money, then you need to be very particular about like sales rank and how many sellers. And basically, if you don't have a lot of money, like if you have $500 and you're trying to make this happen, you need to be extremely picky and be scrutinize your listings a lot, to like make sure that the stuff that you're buying is actually going to sell. But let's say you have like a budget every month of like $80,000, like I've had at points, then I'm not going to be, I'm going to do my best to focus on just buying stuff that sells really well, that has, like in the clothing and shoes category, has a sales rank of under 200K, under 100K if I can. But if I'm like, already bought as much of the good BSRs, like under 50 and under 75K as I can, and I'm at the store and I've still got another $1,000 that like what I would do with retail arbitrage. So I'm trying to spend 5 grand per day when I'm outsourcing. So like if I'm at a store like New Balance Outlet, for example, and I've gone through and I've gotten all the really sweet stuff already, but I have a goal of spending $80,000 that month, and I've got another $1,000 to spend that day. I'm gonna take a look at some of those other products that I might have passed up earlier, and like and see if I might want them. So it's not so like it's the amount of capital you have that dictates a lot of the decisions you make as to whether or not you should buy a piece of inventory or not. Because if you have a lot of capital, you can afford to have that inventory sell slower.
I got you. Okay.
So in your position, you need to be more thoughtful. At
Yeah.
$4,500, you need to, and especially as a newer seller, um, be willing to make mistakes and lose a little bit of money, but try to stick with winners as much as you can, or stuff that you think is going to sell well. And if you're not sure about it, don't buy it.
Got you. And I guess also I know a lot of sellers they end up utilizing credit. I know that's not a smart move at the very beginning.
No.
Um, but with I guess how do I explain it? Like requirements. I know they have a minimal requirement like credit score and whatnot. But what would be like the requirement like in into the business? Like what would you say like, hey, at this point it's alright to utilize credit? I guess after several hundred sales or after
It's all about. mm, I mean, the answer that most people would give would just be maybe like whatever you're comfortable with and risk tolerance. But personally, I would not recommend adding leverage debt to your business until you understand how to do a balance sheet and a profit and loss statement. Or at the very least, you have a bookkeeper doing those things for you, because a profit and loss statement will tell you if you're actually making a profit or not. You know, um, if you don't know if you're actually making a real profit, or you're not clear about how much profit you're making, you could actually be losing money.
Yeah.
If you leverage is literally, like when they say leverage, think about it like the traditional kind of mechanical sense of like putting a long bar on something and prying on it.
Mm,
So
right.
if you have a business that, according to the profit and loss statement and the balance sheet is healthy and the P&L shows a decent profit, if you add leverage to that, you can figure out exactly where you need to put the leverage, and then you can make a lot of money. If you have a business that isn't profitable, but you kind of don't know it because maybe you're not doing the balance sheet, or maybe you don't have a very clear P&L, and maybe even the P&L shows that you're like losing $2,000 a month. If you add debt to that, you risk like ruining your life financially.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
that said, I do have a very good Amazon seller friend of mine who's been selling for like 3.5 years. This past December, he did like over a quarter million in revenue, and up until like a month or two ago, he didn't have a P&L. So,
What?
but there's a lot of people out there like that actually. So it's just that with debt, uh, you risk a lot, and so it just adds a lot of risk into your life. Um, so if you can learn how to do a balance sheet and a profit loss statement, you will sleep a lot better. Um, so a P&L is your profit and loss. So it shows how much profit you made and how much of a loss you took. Is the simplest way to put it. And it's kind of where that phrase bottom line comes from. Like, what's the bottom line? At the top of the P&L, you have your top line revenue. So like with Amazon, let's say you did $100,000 in revenue for a month and you're doing your monthly P&L. It's your top line revenue is like your revenue minus returns. And so that's your top line revenue. Then you subtract out your cost of goods sold. So how much it cost you to purchase those items that actually sold. So let's say it's 50K. So it's like 100 minus 50K. And then you subtract out Amazon fees, which is usually like another 25 to 30%. So, you take out like 25,000 bucks, let's just say, and then you take out the rest of your operating expenses out of that $25,000, your software subscriptions, your pack and prep fees, boxes, taxes, maybe. And then at the very bottom, your bottom line is your profit.
Yeah, I had someone call the Trail of Tears. I'm like, whoa, slow down now. Like that could offend some people, just because he was looking at the top number and then eventually got to the bottom number.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't really see
yeah,
that.
and would you say that your ASINs changed throughout the year? Because end of the year's quarter four is like crazy with, I guess, toys and those knickknacks, gaming
Yep.
systems, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I like clothing a lot more than I like shoes. It tends to sell faster and a little bit less returns. And it's clothing. Clothing's you can pack $10,000 worth of clothes into like two boxes, and $10,000 worth of shoes is like four or five.
Oh yeah.
Just because shoes take up more space, and yeah. So like in the winter, there's a lot of winter clothing out there, so I like selling that stuff. And it's expensive, to like buy a jacket. Jackets are like anywhere from $100 to like $800. You know, so if I buy like an $800 jacket, I maybe was able to spend like 300 or 400 bucks on it, and um, that's an easy way for me to spend a lot of money quickly. So the faster you can spend your money effectively, the more money you're going to make. So uh, in the summer, I sell more shoes. In the winter, more clothes, and then I also do grocery. And if you have other like niches, some people do really well with toys and like all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Ivan,
That's
I think I'm going to log off here in a minute. Do you have any other questions?
real quick. What was that software you were talking about with the what was it? Nepto?
Shoot me a DM and I'll send you the link.
Yes, please. No, I honestly, I really do appreciate it. If I'm being completely honest, I thought you meant like chat for like Facebook. Well, whenever I saw my things pop open, like for the microphone, like what to get myself into. But I'm honestly really glad I did this. That's man. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Honestly,
Welcome.
yeah. But I was sending you that DM. Yeah. Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
See you guys. Thanks for coming to the live. See you next time.